Good morning, everybody. Going to do another blog entry here. Actually, two today. The first one's really short, and the second one's quite a bit longer, so I'm just going to combine these two. The first one is blog entry 136 from 10/4 of 2024. Today feels pretty normal, just easing into the day. It's raining, and trying to get into my formal orange clothes on a tiny van feels like a challenge worthy of a Krishna miracle. So I went with my orange gym clothes instead, practical, rainproof, and still in service. Luckily, not a temple day, so no robes flapping in the wind or puddles on the van floor. I can almost imagine Krishna chuckling quietly as I figure this out. Maybe one day he'll teach me the secret of van-changing acrobatics. For now, it's all part of the adventure, and it'll work out. It is what it is. So that was the first one. And now this is blog entry 137 from 10/6 of 2024. And it was really wild. In my meditation, I had this thought just really permeate in my mind. Like it just stuck there, and it just showed up, and it wouldn't go away. And that's what this starts with. Why do we do what we do? Why do we go where we go? What truly motivates us? I can feel this river of consciousness, the divine world, flowing all around me. It is alive, luminous, and eternal, and yet it exists in contrast to the material world I inhabit. I can step into it, swim in it, feel its currents, and taste its sweetness. But I am also here, in the material, with all its limitations, distractions, and reactions. Krishna is present in that river, guiding me. And yet, I also sense him in the midst of the material world, encouraging me to move with awareness and devotion. Can one truly exist in both at once? And if so, what does that mean? Is the purpose simply to feel the joy of the river, or is it to let its presence ripple outward, touching others through my actions? Is it about the inner peace Krishna brings, or the devotion he nurtures in my heart? How far will I go for Krishna? And how much am I willing to surrender to experience the fullness of this divine current while still moving through the material world? At this point in my journey, I remember that the two were just like so strong and so present, and just it was really wild. It was just really wild seeing the divide, but yet not the connectedness, and then how I was in both. Yeah, I remember that. It was really wild. Looking around, everything here feels temporary. The river is permanent, yet I am learning how to inhabit both realms at once, flowing in Krishna's divine world while walking through the material. My more advanced friends might say only the river matters, overstating the importance of immersion in consciousness and overlooking the steps in the material world that prepare one to fully enter it. This river, this divine world, is Krishna himself, the river of love, the current of existence, which all life flows, and perhaps my role is to be a bridge, moving between the worlds, carrying what I learn in one into the other. The journey is long, and the lessons never stop, but the river is always there, inviting me to float, to surrender, and to remember that Krishna is present in both realms if only I keep my heart attuned to him. So, this was a really wild time in meditation for me because I was feeling both worlds so clearly, yet I was feeling being part of both worlds simultaneously. And then I could feel how both worlds were an extension of Krishna. The material world, you don't feel it as strongly because it's one of the lower vibrational levels of Krishna. It's just one of the lower Krishna energies. But the divine world that I was feeling was one of the higher Krishna energies, and always present and always there. It's just wild, and the two just simultaneously existing like that. But then it's learning how to not be so in one, not to be so far off in the divine that you can't really function in the material world. Not so much function like produce materially, but function like talk to someone in a way they can understand, So if you're over there and you're hanging out with Radha and Krishna and you're feeling like the molecules of existence dancing and giving each other hugs and rainbows and sparkles and unicorns, and yet you're sitting on a bus bench beside someone, you can't really be like, wow, the molecules are really happy today. You know what I mean? Like, you just, you just even though that is your experience, right? Even though that is what you're feeling, you got to reel that in. You got to reel that into something like, wow, Radha and Krishna are just amazing. God is good. God's love is amazing. Wow. Always incredible. Something like that. Not so much discussing the dancing of the molecules per se. But yeah, I remember that the challenges of it was really interesting because the two touching as they do. But it gets easier. After that experience in this certain way, Krishna merges more with you, like he's merged more with me. So it's not so much the contrast. I just naturally now feel Krishna in both simultaneously, and it's really fluid. So it's not at the point of writing this blog entry, I was thinking I had to really pay attention to that because I would sound pretty loopy, pretty crazy, and over time it all settles, and over time it gets smoother and more succinct, and you don't have to actually think or do. It just flows because it's Radha and Krishna, and they just have it work out like that and have it happen. All right, well, that's it pretty much for today's blog entry. Thank you so much for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your day. Radhe, 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 Radhe.